Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a nice holiday weekend into the new week. We have a lot to get into tonight, including the Pirates, who now have one All-Star in addition to the manager, Derek Shelton, who got on that staff. But the Pirates also embarking on the halfway point. We're going to have a report card on what the Pirates have done so far. But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown has to be the Penguins. Kyle Dubas, what a week it was for him. And here to discuss it is your panel. We have Chris Mueller from 93.7 The Fan. Over here to my left, in the middle, it's hole-in-one Joe Starkey, the incrinculate one. And to his left, it's Will Graves from the Associated Press. So we're going to get right into this.
You like this, Bob? Big East?
Who's the best Big East coach of all time?
Lou Carnesecca, and thank you for asking,
Not
Mosey.
Lou Carnesecca.
Who's the most intimidating Big East coach of all time?
Jim Boeheim and
John Thompson.
There was a correct answer to that.
John Thompson.
All right.
Yes.
Will had to save you very early on there.
Yes,
Forget
he
the
did.
Big East for now. We're going to talk, Joe, about what happened with the big Dubas.
Yes.
Because he made 8 different signings, very active, which is nice to see. However, one of those signings was to Tristan Jarry, which I don't think on the surface would bother most people, except the term was 5 years. It seemed like the Penguins were somehow negotiating against themselves. I didn't see much of a market out there for him. It didn't seem like many people were talking about him. How did he get 5 years, and should he have gotten 5 years?
No, and I would disagree with your premise, Bob. I think a lot of people on the surface, even if it was shorter, would have had a problem with this. Not me. I was ready to sign him maybe for 2 years. Not much of a raise. What did he do to earn a raise? Meanwhile, Carolina has Anderson and Ranta for less per year, Malsey, than this guy? Are you kidding me? Dubas never got the goalies right in Toronto. I'm starting to wonder if he got it right.
How much influence did Mike Sullivan have on this?
A ton.
Chris?
I mean, Kyle Dubas acknowledged that there were people within the organization who had a very high opinion of Tristan Jarry, and that didn't influence him necessarily, but it didn't hurt. Oh, gee, I wonder who you're talking about. Mike Sullivan, who keeps talking about this guy as a great goalie.
Top tier.
You know, if he can just stay healthy. Oh, the if might as well be in 72-point font there. If he can stay healthy, and if he can actually play in the playoffs, and if he can deliver the goods. I think it's a horrible move. I think it's Mike Sullivan tinged all over the place. In fact, so much so, I wouldn't call it Kyle Dubas signed Tristan Jarry. That's Mike Sullivan signing Tristan Jarry.
I mean, you know, when Dubas says the first day he gets a job, you know, Mike Sullivan can coach as long as he wants, which is what he did say. It certainly makes you understand the influence he has. I don't have a problem with the number. 5.375 is 12th highest in the league for a guy that been an All-Star twice in the last 3 years. I'm okay with that, but 5 years.
You're saying he's the guy for the rest of the Crosby and Malkin era?
No, they're saying he's the guy.
Well, I'm saying the royal you there is what I mean. But they're telling you, they're telegraphing, hey, 87 and 71 and 58. This is how much time we've got left, and this is the guy we're going to bet on.
But it's also part of their system doesn't have somebody pushing either. Like, it would be really helpful if they had some 22-year-old, a Matt Murray type who was ready to come in.
Does Carolina's system have that? Carolina plays a system that protects their goalies. Now they've got 2 pretty good goalies.
And they had Aiden Hill
for the price of 1.
Advantage of that.
Having said that, I still think there's a chance that Jarry lives up to this. I think he's obviously talented. I mean, that's inarguable.
Here's my question, though. How hurt is he? Because it was a chronic hip injury. I hear chronic. I say,
must not be chronic.
Chronic means does not go away, is always there, needs to be managed. If he has a chronic injury and they just... Okay, but like they said that last year. That's their words, like rumored to be or reported to be a chronic hip injury. If it's chronic, then you better have a guy behind him who you feel like can take the workload off of him so that when it comes time to get to the playoffs, he's healthy and he isn't dealing with a chronic hip.
Well, this is going to be the one deal that Kyle Dubas will be judged upon. No matter what else happens, it's going to be how Tristan Jarry plays. But he made significant other moves as well. Talk to me about Ryan Graves.
Wow.
Good move?
I mean, I'm certainly a fan of anybody named Graves in this town, but, you know.
I want to watch that with Adam's history with the Penguins.
I will say this. Well, you know, I was a Caps fan back then, so, like, I was sort of okay.
He was a Rangers player, Will.
But the Penguins suffered, so, like, 18-year-old me was happy with that. Like,
so you're a big Peter Bondra guy.
I am a big Peter Bondra guy.
Bat swing at Mario's wrist. Did you
I
like that?
Ryan Graves. He's good. He's 28.
And
I think everything that Kyle Dubas said about Ryan Graves yesterday was true. He's proved himself against really good players. He's a top 4, really, in another team. He might be the top guy, right? He's 28 years old. The rest of it, though, man, a lot of 30-year-old guys on a team that was already the oldest in the league. That is my bigger concern. I think the Graves signing is going to be fine. But, man, some of these guys,
at least they
how
got
much mileage is left?
At least they got rid of Granlund and Carter.
No.
That's right.
They still have Granlund and Carter. Now, I like the Graves move because he's a defender and he plays with Letang.
And he's
big.
physical.
He's a
And he's
big
an
dude,
upgrade
right.
from
Just like a
Dumoulin.
Jarry.
But is he truculent enough? Oh, wait, that guy's gone now. We
Yeah,
don't have
he's
to worry
gone
about
now. And then Riley Smith is an upgrade on Zucker. So I think those two are significant upgrades at high-end positions.
So I think the Riley Smith thing, I think Zucker, when he's at his best, is probably a better player. He's a machine out there, but he's never healthy enough. Like, he's the guy who finally had a healthy year, and he's going to get paid, and I'm happy for him.
Who?
Zucker.
Well, he only got 1 year.
1 year, though. That's the.
He
to
got
me, that's
1
not
year.
getting paid.
Well,
if he was going to capitalize on 1 year,
I think it's
this would have been
I
the
do think
year.
it's the health, but like I think here's what I like about Riley Smith. It's just a 2-year deal for him.
Yeah.
And it lines up with Crosby. It lines up with Malkin, and it is. I mean, in balance, he is the better player. I don't mean to but I get seduced with Zucker by the high
And he
end
kills
stuff.
penalties.
And
I mean,
Zucker,
Smith
when
kills
you're
penalties.
Right.
as somebody who was in the
Sullivan already
room
said
regularly at the end of the season, I mean, and especially at the downtime, Zucker was the guy every night that seemed to be willing them to engage, to get them to show fight. And I mean, Smith, he is
Like,
he's a good dude.
Will, I get tempted by that, but then like if they were the team that had brought back Zucker, then game 32 of the season he breaks his leg or something
Right.
like that.
And he
then,
hadn't been healthy.
You know, all of that is.
But
all that
I
goes
think
out
I
the
don't know.
window.
I'd rather have. I mean, 1 year. What was Zucker's? What was it? Was with Arizona? What was the money on that? Bob?
5.2.
5.3.
That's an injury commentary then to me.
I mean,
Bob,
just.
does it look to you like my gut is more prominent in this, or am I sucking it in
I
sufficiently?
think you're sucking it in very well.
All right.
Yeah,
Black
good.
is a slimming
Please
color,
proceed.
but you're testing the limits of that concept.
All right, we're going to continue this conversation. I didn't realize
Which one, about
John
Joe's shirt?
Thompson and Labanza, but that's what we've done here tonight. You never know where it's going to go. And next, we'll talk about the Penguins and some of the guys who still are here and how do they get rid of him. And what about Erik Karlsson? You keep hearing that name. Is that possible, or are we just dreaming here? We'll talk about it next, right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.
#1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran. Go one better.